Wow. How long have you guys been working on that? Is this a semester project so far?
Yeah.
Very, very good. Wow. Such a powerful piece. Do you know a little bit about the piece?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you tell us a little about what makes this piece so special?
Well, I suppose the subtitle for the piece is dedicated to the victims of fascism and war, which after Shostakovich's memoir came out, it kind of shed a little more light on it, that it was kind of dedicated to all the composers basically who had to go through all the totalitarianism of their governments, and they were oppressed because they weren't able to make music that really expressed what they felt.
Yeah, very good. So you did some research.
I actually presented on that.
You did? Okay, you sound like you did. Wonderful.
Nice job.
Yeah, no, this is really at the core of our quartet repertoire. It's one of the more important 20th century pieces that we have. And you guys play it with real dedication. I feel your excitement for the piece. It's great. The second movement is its own sort of issue of ensemble things, right? Maintaining tempo, having good, clean overlaps. That's one thing. But I thought maybe we could go back to the first and see if we can create an atmosphere in the beginning. And this is, there are at least 800 different ways to do this. So I just want to share with you some ideas. I studied this piece with members of the Shostakovich Quartet. And we actually played this at the Shostakovich competition in Russia when I was with my previous quartet. I learned a lot just being in Russia and absorbing the mood at the time. This was in 1991 when Gorbachev resigned. We were there, and actually our plane tickets were canceled, and we ended up spending Christmas in St. Petersburg waiting for American Express to get us new tickets to come home. It was a very exciting and slightly scary time. But anyway, I try to share the good parts of that with you. Basically, what we were told, what the Bardine, when they approached this, was a kind of feeling of desolation, like absolute, it's a very painful context, right? Obviously, the topic is so painful. And they tried to convey to us the sense of emptiness. And that doesn't mean like a floaty sound, actually kind of the contrary. It means finding a core way of contributing your sound to the group. And they kept stressing to us the importance of feeling the quartet right here, that everybody contributes into the center. And so everything you do takes on extra meaning and pathos. Can we try that?
I have an A.
You want an A? She wants like basics. Good idea. That's a really good point, though, because none of this will resonate properly if you're not really into it. So, okay. Take your time before you start. The moment before a piece starts is a great moment. It's sort of the empty canvas, right? And we're all sitting here with expectations. And it's a little nerve-wracking from the standpoint of the performer. It's like, oh gosh, and the lights, the people, the parents, the whole thing. Maybe just take a little extra time before you start. Get the bow in a part of the bow, in an area where you can lean on the bow without making too much sound. This idea of leaning into the tone is really important. That's where your sounds are going to come together. You're going to be able to generate a kind of resonance that mixes well. But if you do it at the frog, it's just going to be loud, right? So you want to put yourself in a weaker part of the bow where you can put more of your own weight into it. And then I would just play just ever so slightly less confidently. Let it unfold. Okay. So wait a long time before you start. is when we play without conductor, obviously, with chamber music group here, so there can be a tendency to want to over-cue things. I'm over here, everybody, I'm over here. Be careful when you're doing something as subtle as this. Trust each other a little more. Nobody needs to see your beats. You can almost play sort of disembodied. You know what I mean? And then the next player comes in. You guys know each other, you trust each other enough. You can kind of let this become more of a magical, mystical experience. Can we try one more time? That was great. You waited a wonderful amount of time. This last cadence, that's really the first time you do something in a unified way. And I wondered if that could be, if you could bring that to our attention. Like, they're all in. How far does that crescendo go? I'm trying to remember, it's been a long time.
Measured.
How much? This thing?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so maybe that could open up just a bit more, and that sense of, I don't want to say pressing, but pushing the sounds into one another sound would be really great. Could we start at 1? It's so evocative, isn't it? I mean, you just feel like, it's devastating music. I'm asking these guys to play closer to the bridge, but without playing louder. Why? Because I want to hear the overtones mix. And there's a hollowness. Did you hear that kind of slightly cold sound that you get? It's not warm and fuzzy, right? When you come in with your theme here, Sasha, it would be great. You start so beautifully, and then I feel you go away from the sound. You go ta, and I wish you could do the opposite. Value each one of these notes like each one is a gem, you know what I mean? And constantly compare it to the notes around you. Because it rarely is it going to be a consonant pretty thing. There's a lot of dissonance, there's a lot of rub here. Yeah? Can we set her up? Where's a good spot to just
2 to 14.
2 to 14. Perfect. Okay. The bridge, you guys. Go to the bridge. Okay, good. You're doing exactly what I asked for. And I think the danger is, and it's kind of my fault, the danger is that it just gets loud and kind of in your face, right? And we don't want that. We still want it to be an intimate expression. So how do you do that? There's the art. See if there's a way for you to dip into the string, especially on the more poignant notes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the B flat would be something that gets a little bit more. Is it an A sharp or a B flat? We get
I should go with my solo.
yeah, in your solo.
Because the B flat is here, but.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're at 4. We're just playing the.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, it works anyway, doesn't it? You guys are doing sort of the same thing.
2 measures before 4.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And so you'll dip in and out of more and less of that painful kind of content. Don't forget the bridge. It makes all the difference. You having a little trouble getting it to speak?
No, I don't want to get that crunch, but,
Right.
but I still want to get that cold, sound.
You actually need very little weight at the bridge. Remember, the bridge
Yeah.
is your resistor. So just hug it and move as slowly as it tells you to.
Okay.
Okay? So 2 before 4. Pianissimo.
guys.
I think there's a sense of like sympathetic vibrations going on. You're like, oh, we feel your pain. But try to maintain a little bit of distance so that his pathos can be uniquely expressed. And what do you have? Do you have like espressivo?
Yeah, espressivo.
Yeah, so I would do that from the first note. You're tending to sneak in. You're
Yeah.
like, da, 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 now I'm something
Yeah.
special. I would do it right away from the C.
Okay.
Let's do 2 before 7. Yeah. there could be a little bit more difference between the three of you and the cello at that point. It's not just because I play cello. It's just sort of having a little bit of space between the tune and the surroundings.
For the, like, for example, if you were to have all these long notes, should I also try doing the same thing with the bridge? Is it for the entire thing, or?
Good question. With the pianissimo marking, I guess in chamber music in general, I play closer to the bridge. I play closer to the bridge in chamber music in general. If in orchestra, I play closer to the fingerboard. Because in orchestra, you're blending with more people, you're part of a collective. Here, you're unique voices that have to be immediately accessible. And strangely enough, when you play a little closer to the bridge, there's more transparency. Isn't that weird? Of texture. Of course, if you bear down and blast, that's not the case. But if you just allow for the clarity that comes with the extra overtones, it's amazing how the voice, the instrument of the quartet starts to sound. I think that's why it sounded so cool when you went to the bridge for that hollowness. This is a sound that cannot be replicated any other way. I'm not really answering your question. I guess one thing that would help is if the three of you used a little less vibrato at that spot. That's 7, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a little less vibrato, and maybe try to stay in the upper part of the bow. That'll give you a way of contributing without giving too much. Can we try it one more time? 2 before?
2 before.
2 before 7. And so I think what I didn't hear was a dim, and then I heard this gigantic hairpin. Let's have it be a hairpin within a diminuendo. Okay. That's great. Okay, that was wonderful. You guys are like, you found the place to put your sounds. Wonderful. You could wait longer.
Yeah.
Start, they get you set up. And I would go all the way to there. Okay. One more time. That was awesome. Wait. Okay, good. So I'm sort of smiling because I'm thinking about all the lessons that there are in chamber music, right? There's pressure to be together on one hand, and then there's also the similar huge need to be eccentric, independently eccentric. This is an eccentric spot.
Yeah.
Right? I would move the tempo forward, add crescendo to the F. Now, your coach may have a different view, and that's no less right or wrong, it's just different. But try that.
Okay.
See if you can stick out by being a little more opinionated in terms of the momentum, and push these guys around just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so the ear is drawn to you. One more time.
Oh.
you know, from the inside of the group. It's so nice, and you have that role in this, right? You're like, there's a stability and there's a lamentation quality to what you're doing, and then you get to do this sort of higher, slightly whinier, complaining thing. I think you guys are doing that beautifully. When you get the statement here at the end, I would use full bows. I know it presents itself in pianismo, but I think just from a thematic outlining point of view, you're going to lead the hairpin and everything. I would go for it with bigger gestures. Can we try that from, I don't know, before 10? Maybe you can see. You do this several times, don't you? Yeah, 9. Perfect. Okay.
Can we start 2
Right.
measures before?
You want to do it
Before that?
first?
Sure, sure.
Great. You guys make me so nervous with the pages. I think.
Pages are so bad. They're so bad.
You just made it. Okay. Anyway, great, wonderful. When you have this is what you call a rip snorter in quartet playing, right? So we were doing Dvorak, and I was saying turn the instrument. So I'm not going to try to tell you how to play the violin, but I would say whatever you can do to leverage the lower string, but it has a real folksy kind of, I don't know, maybe a raw quality, not too cultivated.
Okay.
Okay, we hear a little buzzing or something in the string, it's fine. This is desperation in sound, okay? Don't hurt yourself, but really push the instrument a little bit. Are we good? Yeah, okay. Let's do that wonderful transitional 2-bar note. Yeah. Oh, the pages. Oh. Not even do with that. Good. I wanted to say to you before that happened, that can happen to anybody, but make sure you're really locked into what Sasha's doing. There's a little bit of slight flakiness on the placement of those chords. Dum ba da dum ba da dee ba da dum ba da ba. You know where it falls. Really lock into that pulse. And the note beforehand, you guys be super soft, and then when it explodes, it culminates in Sasha. So she's like being shot out of a cannon with that depth. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, and so you're going to be really on your toes.
Yeah.
Okay? Start softer. It's so much better. It's really great. It's actually, I don't know, I'm a cellist, right? So we sit like this. We have no choice, right? And as you're playing this, you have You're a little bit like elegant over there.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you could kind of,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
more like you're riding a Harley, okay, for this. And that'll impact how they respond too. Body language is important. Okay. One more time. Super soft. That's sensational. That was wonderful. Okay, and then you have to kind of keep motivating yourself.
Yes.
You have to really find the energy to do that. You guys with this dum, ba-da-dum, it's beginning to sound a little bit like a rhythm. Has a casual feeling. Can you drag the sound through? It's a load you're carrying. I think that's the sentiment. Yeah? Can we try that? I see there's like cameras to see. One last time. Hard to do. Yeah. So as you're dragging the bow, don't drag the tempo. Yes. Tough.
Yeah.
You guys ever rehearse with a metronome?
Yes.
Yeah. You must have like the world's loudest metronome.
We got a loudspeaker.
You good? That's good. Okay, good. Yeah, that's wonderful. And you can actually turn it on a lower setting, so it's not so loud, and then take turns putting it on your different desks, on your different stands. So each of you is kind of responsible for leading with it. That can be a really great way to kind of share the vibe. Okay, because I think by the time you wait for information to cross the group, it can be a little bit too late for things to slow down. But this, I think, is wonderful. You have such nice flexibility as a group. You have kind of nice things. It seems like you like playing together. Yeah, that's awesome. I know we have some other groups. Is there anything in here that you want to work on, or was that mean stop? No. What's that? Oh, of Debussy. Well, that was a D. You want? Yeah, sure.